But after graduating college, I worked for this small little agency, and I'm going to date myself here. I walked into this agency, and it was pre-Apple, pre-Mac. Macintosh didn't exist. So this is old school design. Oh, I know. But old school design, I mean traditional design skills. And I was real fortunate. I hooked up with this woman who was the lead designer there, and he was at the forefront of Apple and Mac, and we sat down for a year. And I got just full-blown training and was able to pull my experiences and my education and apply it to what is now just an integral tool into what I do. And so with that learning, I realized, okay, this world's getting bigger and bigger, and I need to go to bigger agencies. And I ended up going to a kids and family marketing agency. And this is a company that worked with McDonald's and all the big ones. And I think I designed about 300 posters, all different, saying the same thing. Buy one, get one free. Just what I did. I mean, that's all I did. And it was crazy. I mean, this was Carl's Jr. and McDonald's, and I mean, Long John Silver's, and a lot of really, really fun clients, but it was all the fast food industry, and this was all the kids' meal premiums and all that stuff, so I got to work in that industry for a good 6 or 7 years, and again, taking those Mac skills and my design skills, and kept learning, kept growing, kept developing. And then from there, I got hired out of that agency into another agency to head up the direct mail division for Nestle Premier Pet Care. And this is where I got to make my mark in the world. I got to work with Fancy Feast and Friskies and Mighty Dog, all these huge, huge companies. And we were in 10 to 15 million homes quarterly per brand. So my reach was phenomenal. And I mean, just for one example, Fancy Feast, we had 3 different buying categories. Depending on your usage rate, we sent different pieces of communication to you. So we really got into market analysis and how to speak to these people and how to influence their buying decisions. And so I worked with this team. We had a team of 6 that was heading this up, and we just killed it. I mean, we had so much fun. We generated more money for our clients, more money from the company, and then the market kind of switched a little bit. And instead of me just heading up the direct mail division, I also got 22 different Nestle brands to do all their advertising with half the staff. And it was crazy. I mean, it was absolutely nuts. It's just so much work and so much learning. And then I was blessed with twin boys. And that's where Shane and Hayden came into my life. And I looked at my wife, and they were about 2 years old, and I said, you know what? This isn't worth it. I was working 16, 17-hour days, and I couldn't do it. And I told my wife, I'm not happy. I love you. I love the kids, but it's time for a change. And I came to Colorado, and came out here without a job. Came out without a client. My strongest lead was a gentleman I met on a plane who worked with Focus on Family. And he goes, when you get settled, come and see me. And so it was one of those things I took a leap of faith. And so far it's worked out real well. I've been having a ton of fun. I mean, most of you know some of the clients I'm working with now, not only people in this room, but Cheesecake Factory has been just an absolute dream. Because picture this, when I first moved here, I've been working with this girl through Ruby's and a bunch of other restaurants, and she finally got her dream job at Cheesecake Factory, and she calls me the first week I was here and goes, Cheesecake Factory doesn't have any advertising. What am I going to do? Well, I don't have a job description. I don't know what I'm doing. So we sat down and brainstormed for about a week and came up with 6 or 7 different programs that we could introduce into Cheesecake Factory. And well, now she's heading up the new restaurant development for Cheesecake Factory and just doing incredibly well. And so picture Cheesecake Factory is one of those huge conglomerates. So I started working with Steve, who works at Cheesecake Factory, and he introduced me to Michelle. And all of a sudden I'm working with 7, 8, 9 different people within the Cheesecake Factory family and all these different divisions. So it's just been one of those jobs. I actually have like 6 or 7 projects that I got to finish up this week for. But it's all the learnings that I've done through kids and family marketing and through all the other agencies that I'm able to put in practice not only for the big clients at Cheesecake Factory, but also for the little clients. And when I say little, it's big to these people. So I treat it as such. Michelle and I, how many ads are we doing right now? Probably 20-something?
Yeah, probably.
For your publication. Each one of these, I try and take that little extra step and provide, they'll come in and say, here's what I want, or here's what I think you need, and we'll do a little bit extra for each one of these people. And so far it's worked out real well. She's had great success, and her advertisers have had some great success. So what I wanted to do is kind of go through the top 10 reasons to hire designers. And I'll try and make each one of these apply to a specific project that I'm working on. But the first one is to stand out from the rest. Again, with my experience, if you come at me and say I need a logo, I'm going to do a bunch of research to find out what your competition's doing, and I'm going to make your logo your brand up here instead of the average. I'm not going to pull from stock photography. I'm going to make it unique and make it special to your specific needs. Another thing about, or to hire a designer is to save time and money. It's kind of hard sometimes to say, you know, I need to hire a designer and spend X amount and get it printed and all this stuff, but if you try and do it yourself, chances are you're going to spend a whole lot of time learning the programs, learning the design, learning all the aspects of your business. So you're going to end up wasting a lot of time. And I have enough experience that I'm pretty efficient in what I do. So another reason is to look good. Again, you can pull stock images and stock this and put it together with a little tagline and say, here's my logo. But it's not gonna raise to that level. And that's my thing. Whenever I do a logo, I'm actually putting myself out there. It's a really hard thing to do sometimes. When you think about everything that I do is going to be scrutinized and torn apart. And hopefully it's torn apart in a good way and comes back to me with confidence. But so another reason to hire a designer is quality control. Not only when I do a logo or a brochure or an advertisement, I follow through and I'll see it off press. You have to try this printing once or twice a week, seeing jobs off press. So I will take it from start to finish and get you and your client, or my client, the product they need. And another thing to hire a designer is I can help you understand what you actually need. You may come at me and say I need a brochure or a direct mail piece, but I've done enough direct mail that sometimes they don't work. And depending on the marketer, what the message is, they're going to fall flat. Now, if we have a message that has to get out there and is going to get that response and reaction, sure enough, I'll pursue it. But there are other avenues that we can do to get the message out there. Actually, we just did this for a builder that I'm working with. He's got a couple spec homes going up in Kingsteer. And so we did very targeted marketing. We did 895 homes about that. And so far, I think it hit on Tuesday, he's got 4 phone calls already. But again, the message was on point, on task, and it was soliciting a response. It wasn't just, hi, I'm here, call me when you need me. It was very, very specific. And hopefully we saw a couple houses and a couple lots out of it. Another reason to hire a designer is to think outside the box. Again, you have a very specific need. I can come in and kind of put a twist on it and make you look at things in a different way. And in so much as that, it's basically seeing the big picture. And I'm doing this with my father-in-law, doing Papa's Pepper Spread. He came to me and said, I need a logo, we need this, we have this new product. And it wasn't just a matter of getting that logo done, it was getting him in the market. And we have our first show coming up, like I said, in November. I got a sample, and actually I'm going to put samples out so you guys can taste it after the meeting. But it's one of those things, all of a sudden it went from something in the kitchen to something bigger than life. And we're hoping the show takes off, and like I said, we're finishing our second and third run this Thursday. So again, not just a logo, but a brand, and how we're going to get that product out in the market. So that's what I was able to bring to him. Another thing is, with the designer, you're getting expert knowledge. With me, not to toot my own horn, but I have a ton of experience in a whole lot of different venues, from kids and family to big major product lines and brands to small items. 1 minute are awesome. But I can pull all that together and apply it to any one of the clients' needs that I have. The other thing is communication. One of the things that I do when I meet with people, 9 times out of 10, I will send people home with homework because they haven't thought through what their specific needs are. But I will give them very targeted, here's where I need you to go, here's the path I need you to take. And usually they come back a week later and they're like, oh my God, I have all these ideas. And I'm like, there we go. And now we can start brainstorming and start building and start creating something that is my clients. And it's not driven by me, it's driven by my client. So final reason to hire someone is to actually put something out that you take pride in. What I would try to do with every design piece is have someone, when they get it, when they see it in publication, when they see it in print, when they see it wherever, that they're proud of it. And they're willing and anxious to share it with everyone else and talk about it. So again, I'm DeanMaurryShayDesigns, and that's who I am and what I do.